What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. It's a Tuesday, which of course is a day we're typically always doing a Rugby 25 video on. Now, a lot of people are already expecting this week's update for Rugby 25. A slight difference this week. We've already got an announcement from Ross that today's update is actually being delayed till Wednesday because they're a little bit behind on it. The Easter breaks and what have you, I assume, has caused that sort of knock-on effect. Looks like there is a big update coming on Wednesday, though, so that'll be fun. So we'll actually get to talk about an update preemptively, as opposed to sometimes we don't even have the updates patch notes on the day of the update. So, I mean, that'll be nice. So over this video, we can go over what's going to be going on Wednesday's update as well. So there's going to be a secondary video. Now, that one was going to be a very large video, right? I wasn't around last week. I had a few family issues, a bit of emergency going on, so I was doing a lot of trips to hospital to visit people last week. So wasn't around for update 17. Basically, was just going to skip it and then recap it all this week. Well, they've delayed this video now till Wednesday because that's when the next update is coming out. So I was like, you know what? Let's do an update 17. Let's do an update 17 because unlike normally where I'm sort of playtesting it live, I've actually had some time with it. On Saturday evening / Sunday, I actually put a considerable amount of hours into the Xbox version of this as opposed to the PC. Couldn't be bothered booting up the PC. So I was playing on the Xbox version. I've got a lot of views on this update, and I thought, you know what, it's going to be fun. Let's go over it, let's talk about it, and let's talk about some other stuff. We'll jump into a game and showcase a couple of things that have been really bothering me about this update and a few things around this game, but then we can also talk about what's going to be coming out tomorrow and hopefully mean that the two videos are medium length rather than an unbelievably massive video tomorrow. So let's take a look at the patch notes that have come out for update 17. Now, they had balanced evasion effectiveness. Tackle avoidance via sidesteps and fence have been balanced. There's a big one to talk about there. Corrected defensive try area kicks, corrected occurrences of an inability to kick the ball behind the defensive try area, improved play now settings. Home grounds will now be selected by default when playing a play now match, and then improved stability. Now, I caught Odd One X's video while I was away, and he was sort of a bit underwhelmed, a little bit disappointed with this update, and I was like, that's really interesting because the update notes sound like things that all feel really positive, but having spent my own time with it now, yeah, there's a few things that are a bit of an issue, and we'll sort of jump into them. Now, the balanced evasion effectiveness, oh boy, it went from being every single tackle done by the AI, or you doing on the AI rather, was a handoff, and you couldn't tackle someone, and we were having ridiculous games where I was having, what was it, like 80-something missed tackles or something. My experience has been, it's now the opposite. They now almost never hand off. They almost never sidestep. There's a couple of teams that still do. I was sort of hitting a couple of teams that do and don't. But yeah, it's really dropped down even on the hardest difficulty. New areas that have come in for me. I've got a few videos which I'll put on screen so that you guys can watch them along with me. One of the things that came in was this new try animation, which is 70% of the tries I score, where basically people face plant the floor. I have no idea what goes on in this game as to why stuff breaks. Like, they've turned down the handoffs of AI, and somehow that means my own player's try-scoring animation is broken. They, like, hold the ball like they're like a T-Rex, and they get stuck, and they, like, face-plant the floor. And it happens on every team, anytime you want to score a try. It's so consistent, it's so weird. So that was something that was really bothering me. I also had a world record. I hope that you guys ready for this? World record in Rugby 25. The biggest hit ever in rugby history, the largest tackle ever made. Are you guys ready to see this one? So I'll put it on the screen for you guys. I hit this guy so hard that not only did I dislodge the ball, not only did I make that thing fire into the sky, not only did the ball get out of the stadium, it went so far, it went into outer space. And that was another thing that was really bothering me about this update, is the amount of times you tackle someone or they throw a pass and the ball just pings wildly all over the place. It was really bothering me. The sidestep effectiveness has been annoying because they've just done this flip-flop thing, which we've had since launch, really, where people complain about something, and rather than it feeling like it's getting tweaked, they sort of jump to the opposite end of the spectrum as opposed to hitting that middle ground. I haven't tested the defensive try area kicks. Now, I saw this in Odd One X's video. He was saying, like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what try. That one I think was actually me. So I'll apologize so I actually flagged this one with J&T. It basically means when you were running behind your own try line, you couldn't do a normal kick from hand. It basically stopped you from being allowed to kick from hand. So you couldn't do an exit clearance kick, which actually might be a reason why the AI was always so desperate desperate to pass when they were behind their own try line to try and run it out rather than kick it because the actual functionality didn't work. So I think that one was actually me as to why that one got flagged. But we'll jump into, I'm trying to think of what else we had. Oh, the AI also can take penalties to the nearest corner on like a horizontal angle. They can kick to touch. I can't do that as a player. Saw that one in there and I thought that was a really interesting one and not really sure why they could do that. And then also wanted to test out the effectiveness now of your AI. They've done a few changes to the player's AI so that your AI is meant to be a little bit, you know, less intrusive and let you get on with the game. I wanted to test it with big team differentials. So I played a game as France and I went up against the Bahamas. I couldn't remember who I was playing against. Put it on hardest difficulty. Put down the controller at the start of the game. Put it down and just walked away. Left it alone for 10 minutes. Came back and the screenshot on screen is how the game ended, right? This is wild. I won the game. Of course, didn't make the conversion because there was no one there to take the conversion, so I assumed time just ran out. Louis BLBRE somehow scored a try. I don't even know how he did it because I wasn't playing the game, but you can see by the territory and possession, all of it was somehow spent in my half, so I don't know what went wrong. But if you just take a look at the tackles to missed tackles ratio, tackles made 109 by me. Obviously, I didn't have the ball. They would have had the ball the whole time. But missed tackles was 0. And that's the shift that's coming with this tackle evasionness thing. That even if you're not playing as the player, and you just leave the AI to do its own thing, the AI will still make 100% of tackles. So there's a few issues coming into this one today. But let's jump in. Let's play a game. Let's play a game because, you know, I want to sort of talk a little bit more. And we've also got the notes coming in for tomorrow. Let's just do a New Zealand island. That sounds fun. We'll leave it on hardest. Now, they have done the home stadium difficult. This has actually been a positive change for me. I like this, that now when you start a game, it jumps to the stadium that's the home stadium for the team you're sort of playing as. Oh, you pick the home or you pick the away team. But if you pick the home team, it'll switch to that stadium. Really like that. I think that's a nice small sort of quality of life boost that it means that not every single game is just constantly going to be played in the Stade de France and you have to change it every single time. Very useful on Xbox, which has still got that stupid colour thing over the top which breaks everything. But let's jump into a game and see how it plays. Now, like I said, exclusively I was playing on the Xbox. Maybe that doesn't carry over to the PC. Who knows anymore? There's been a lot of things going on. Another thing, achievements. A few people asked me in the comment section about the achievements because they said they fixed some of the achievements and did they get them to work. On the Xbox, I have now got every single achievement except for the one to do with tackles. You have to make 800 tackles across all game modes, and that doesn't work for me. I've went onto the stats board. I now have 3,000 tackles. I made sure I got more than the 800 from the most recent update as well. Didn't pop for me on that one. I think I've got quite a few of the achievements on the Steam version as well, but I also still don't have that one. But I have seen that other people have been getting that tackle achievement, so it's kind of iffy. I'm not really sure what's going on. The yellow cards are still really tricky to get. I was sort of testing that a lot with the yellow cards. It's still really hard to get the high tackles. It is still 3 high tackles in one half to get a yellow card. If halftime comes around, it resets that timer. Or that sort of countdown, which is a real sort of annoyance. The mauls are still broken there. That means we sort of run away. Let's go for a long kick down range here, over the top of the heads. No one back there. But yeah, the card situation is hopefully going to be improving. Let's talk about the updates that are coming tomorrow then, because I already sort of know what's going on in this version. Let's talk about tomorrow. So tomorrow's update, they're meant to be adding in player send-off is going to be added. Now I assume that's going to mean red card, and therefore hopefully yellow cards are going to be, you know, more sort of numerous again. You're going to see a lot more sort of yellow cards from maybe just from, you know, 1 high tackle rather than it needing to be this weird thing where, you know, it needs to be 3 high tackles. That would be nice to see. But a red card coming. Hopefully, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they sort of manage the concept of... Wow, I feel very, very slow at the minute as we're running for there. Let's get a little handoff. We'll go for a nice early try. We'll go for tries today. Why not? So yeah, of course, a lot of the high tackles that happen in this game that award a penalty, in real rugby, if you clothesline someone, it's going to be a red card, right? So I don't know how they're going to balance the red card versus yellow card situation because of how intense the high tackles are. But it'd be nice to see if they can add in the player send-off coming in there. They're also going to be adding in new celebration cutscene. Now, I'm wondering if because they're going to have the new... I assume that means new celebration cutscene. Doesn't actually say what it is. I've sort of in my head designed that they mean like try scoring animation, like the celebration scoring a try, might actually be to do with like the trophy, like winning a tournament or something. Might mean that as a cutscene might be different. I don't know if they mean more try scoring animations and stuff, because at the minute, yeah, I would like to see a little bit more around the try scoring. It's a little bit samey every single time. So we'll see. In fact, you know what? Let's see if we can get one of those ridiculous ones today on the PC if it works. Can we still pick up with the 9 as well? Going through there, 9 doesn't really work. Have been playing a lot of online on the Xbox. Was trying to do some achievements, like I said. So I had to get my my points in online mode, and was having a bit of fun with the old online. Still a lot of issues around. Being able to pick up the ball with the 9 in online games. Against the AI, they actually really shut you down well. But in the online mode, it's still a real exploit for a lot of people to just pick the ball up with the 9 constantly and really cause some issues. So I hope that's going to be addressed a little bit for online, because there's still a lot of exploits that people use in that game. I've so far managed to win 100% of games on the Xbox. But doesn't, not necessarily through pure skill, mainly because I think I get to about 3 tries in the lead and people rage quit. It's probably what's going well for me. What else? Oh, I managed to get the ball back there. What else we got going on? Balance the fatigue and fatigue management in career management. Now, something not only me, but also other people... Oh, was that a forward pass? Still haven't fixed that thing with the knock-on being over the top of the other thing. The fatigue thing. Fatigue not dropping. We'll quickly have a look at the fatigue of my team there. You can see it's slowly dropping down. I've noticed in a lot of games, fatigue feels like it's almost resetting at half-time for every game, basically, that I've been playing. So I don't know what's been broken there, so I think that's going to be addressed. They've specifically said in this patch note for tomorrow, it's for management in career matches, which I haven't done enough of career mode. I played 2 seasons with the career, and all honestly, I got a little bit bored. Because the career mode didn't feel deep enough to warrant. It is a lot of just match after match after match. It didn't feel like my training meant almost anything when I was doing the sort of training. It didn't feel like I was able to really improve. I was just hiring players for fun. Like, there was a lot of little, things I wasn't really enjoying about it. But fatigue between matches was kind of bothering me a bit. Like, there was, you could maybe play like a match and then you sort of had to do like 6 substitutions because people were knackered, even though it was, 2 weeks between games or something. You think, why are they still knackered from that? Right, let's see if we can go for a... Yes, it does! It does do it as well on this. I knew it. I had a feeling it would. What is this? Why is this, like... why is this such a weird thing? You're like, here it goes. Mark Talea, beautiful try, and... faceplant. No. Like, it just seems so dumb. Like, I don't know what changed in order for this to be the way people score tries. But every time I see it, I just think it looks dumb as hell. So I really hope that gets fixed, because it is a real sort of annoyance in this game at the minute. Oh, there he is, T-Rex arms. Gosh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. I don't know why that's a thing. Right, what else we got coming in then? Improved career pending offer functionality. It seems like a lot of these updates coming tomorrow are actually for the career mode. I'm not really sure how I'm even gonna test that, because the career mode hasn't grabbed me in this game at all. To want it to sit down and do the actual career mode, as opposed to like one of the tournaments we did, like with the Ospreys. Sitting down to actually do a career really hasn't grabbed me as it stands at the minute. But they've changed the career pending offer functionality. I don't know what that means to any further extent there. Improved end of season award stat tracks. I mean, the stat tracking in this game just seems all over the place. I've sort of kept track of it myself with it, having a look at you can go into your own stats in like the user settings, and the stats just, I don't really feel like they mean anything. On my Xbox One, I've got something like 500 successful conversions from 400 attempts from 300 tries. And you're like, none of those stats correlate to one another at all. So, if anything, the only way it can be, gone is improved, hopefully, to improve those stats. So end of the career, it's fun seeing, like, fun stats like that, top try scorer, top point scorer and all that good stuff at the end of like a season. I feel like that brings a little bit to every, sort of season in a career mode to make it feel different. Oh, wow, was that a quick line out that actually worked? I've seen a lot of them go wrong recently. Let me see if we can get off the line here. Try and put some pressure on. Try and pin them back. Improved free agent salary expectations. You know, again, little tweaks to the sort of hiring of player stuff. I think that hiring system needed a bit of an overhaul anyway, just across the board. It wasn't something that I was really, you know, enjoying that much of flicking through the list of transfers or who was transferred or contracts that ran out at different times and Leinster buying everyone and being like, oh, you've got to play through another 3 seasons in order to be able to get some players that you want from the team. So I think there's a lot that needed adjusted through there. What else we got going on? Improved player recruitment menu flow. So, you know, hopefully that will be exactly what I just said. That'd be great if that can change a bit, because it was very, very clunky that even for a lot of people who put a lot of hours into the game still had no idea how that worked. It felt very trial and error. There wasn't really any sort of tutorial to really take you through what you were doing there. What else we got? Improved camera options during rucks. What does that mean? Now, I'm really going to hope that doesn't mean, like, zooming in or zooming out of rucks. I'm personally not a big fan of games where, or like specifically rugby games, where the camera is doing a lot. I am a person that has always enjoyed this sideline TV camera like I am watching a game. Maybe there's, you know, some little iterations, you know, like Rugby 08 and Rugby 2011 did a little bit of zooming in and out when you were playing on the far side of the pitch just to sort of help you see what was going on, but it wasn't intrusive. You didn't really realise it was going on unless you were looking for like a crossfield kick and realised that you couldn't see the bottom of the sort of ground. I'm hopefully it's not going to mean like you're going to get into a ruck and the camera's going to, like, zoom in on where the ball is and you're all going to, you know, watch it. I don't like that. I want the game to try and feel a little bit more realistic, like you're sort of watching a game of rugby. Ooh, they sort of slid through a couple of players there. In fact, let me get the ball back. I want to test the kicking from behind my own try line. I don't think I've ever tested this since I did it. So basically, this was the thing. When you've got behind the try line here with Rieko Ioane, I shouldn't be able to kick this. Nope, that's fine. They fixed that. That's okay. That was one thing they put. I actually haven't tested that, but they fixed that. That didn't work in Update 16. You couldn't do that. So if you stuck behind your own try line, you were doomed. But yeah, I really hope that camera option just means maybe the camera positioning is going to be slightly, if you're playing sort of end on. We know they're focusing on end on for this game. Maybe they're going to just position it slightly more off from directly back so you can see when your scrum half has the ball. I'm not really sure what that one means. Improved AI substitution and injured player decision. Yes! My goodness, is that something that needs to be touched? Because, yeah, there's a lot of issues in this game with the AI just not doing substitutes, not getting their injured players off. And yet, I feel like they did. I feel like it did work at one point and then it just kind of stopped for some reason. And now they literally never, ever do. They don't care about anything. My God, there was actually a sidestep there by Ireland trying to do something with the ball. We get another turnover in there, nice and easy. Come on, boys, pick it up. Let's go. We want to score tries. We're trying to do fun stuff. So yeah, glad that if that can work well. Let me have a quick look down here. I just want to try and run this a little bit wider. Let's try and get on the outside here. As Geordie Barrett getting hunted down here by Bundy Arkey. Let's get a little inside pass out there to Tyrell Lomax. Picking good ground here. Still feel like on hardest difficulty AI is not really, you know, putting up a great deal of fight against me. You know, still feel like it's pretty walkthrough at the minute as Ardi Salvea just sort of hits that really nice line. Will dot it down himself. They got tackled over the line, so we didn't have a face plant into the floor on that one. Improved AI, the injury decision. Improved stamina system. Yeah, I've sort of already touched on that. You know, we've now played a full half of the game, and you look at your stamina system. Everyone's stamina is basically fine again. It's like they get fully replenished, apart from, you know, very specifically Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. Doomed, maybe that's my playstyle, that I really involve the centres a lot, and therefore they use more stamina. Don't really know, but at the minute, you know, using subs isn't necessary. You just don't need to. It doesn't make any sort of impact. So hopefully that is going to make a bit of a change. Improved AI pass decision making. We've read that before. Who knows? Hit and miss. Hit and miss. Could be, could not be. Who knows where it's going to go. Improved stability. And then probably the biggest one. The biggest one that I've left till the end here, because I want to talk about this probably quite a lot. Added a 5-player ruck option. Now, this one is going to be very interesting. As to, I'm not entirely sure why they've done this. At the minute, my biggest issue with the way the rucks works, one, that we don't really know how turnover and stuff work. Oh my God, he actually did a correct dive that time. is that the way your players are positioned around the field. So often in this game, players can just be stood in a ball behind your ruck, and even when using the target passing, you don't have options going wide. You have your A pass will be the guy directly behind the ruck. B will be someone directly behind him. Y will be someone directly back behind him. And they're literally like a straight line. It's like an Orion's belt of players going back towards your own try line, and none of them offer anything for you. The idea of now swapping it, so not only are you going to have 3 players in a ruck, you can now go all the way up to 5, plus you're going to have the guy on the ground with the ball, plus you've got your scrum half. That is 7 players on your team in a single ruck, tied up into one ruck, which means you're probably going to really struggle to be able to go up wide. If they don't fix the issue with the player depth and the sort of player width in this game, you're going to lose half your team to a ruck. You sort of watch now, look at where my players are stood here. Luckily that target passing's worked for me, but why A and B there are almost the same person. They're in about 2 meters of each other. My best option there was to go for B, because I could at least try and play it around the back. I know I held it down too long, so it gave me a penalty away. But A and Y are basically the same player. They're not offering me a lot. They're not going to be able to do a lot of difference there. They've got to be stood in some real different positions. Now imagine if not only did I have that as my target, passing, but also 2 extra players were tied up in that ruck that maybe I didn't have an X option. Maybe there was no one to link up in that midfield for me, and therefore I was not going to be able to get that out wide. I'm not really sure how I would get that out. I've done a lot of testing as well with like crossfield kicks and chip kicks to try and get over the top, and I'm really struggling to get that to work as well. It doesn't feel like as free and easy as it was in Rugby 22 to actually try these outrageous plays. Like right now, there's no one on that wing with Mac Hansen. Let me sort of go for a crossfield kick out wide, getting across. Mac Hansen catches it. I had a 2-on-1 there. Neither of my guys could catch it, and it's very, very consistent that the AI will catch those crossfield kicks. And as you press the kick button, they also seem to react to what you're doing a lot, and that is probably most noticeable in the chip kicks. We'll see if we can get a chip kick in this game quickly. I want to sort of showcase something in this that I did notice about chip kicks that I think is slightly broken. Right, let me try and see if I can work on one of these chip kicks. I just want their line to be a little bit flatter for me. Oh, we'll just... Not really what I was aiming for. Let's let Geordie Barrett just take a tackle in. So we're going to test the chip kick now, and I want to have a little bit of a chat about some of the stuff that goes on with the chip kicks. So let's go for a number 5 here. Little chip kick over the top, and they run back and get it. Now, a little chip kick, the AI loves a good press. The blitz defense is really, really strong. But this is something that I noticed doing the chip kick, and there's a couple of things to it to take a look at it. So first of all, it's the decision made by my player when I press the chip kick, right? So let me just run this forward. So it comes out here from the scrum half, gets into the hands of number 5. Now I specifically know that the fullback is over here. I know the fullback's over here. So if you watch my player, I specifically turned him to run this way to get a chip kick over. Going to land about here in some space. I can run on and get it. That was what I was aiming for here. Let's just run it on. You can see me turn. There's me turning, trying to make a clear thing. Go for a little chip kick. Now just watch the direction of the ball. It cuts back inside. And that is a real issue. And it's something I've noticed all around from playing multiple games. It really feels like the chip kicks, no matter where you are, what angle you're running at, it feels like the chip kicks always try their best to head towards the fullback. Doesn't matter if you're running left, right, straight on. Wherever the fullback is what makes the difference. So because I've kicked it that way, obviously it's not going to let me kick 90 degrees to it. But it tried to basically move the chip kick back in about as much as it could. That's a big difference to what I was aiming for. I'm aiming for over here. It's done about a 45-degree switch to try and get back to that fullback. And a lot of the time, the fullback will rush in and actually be able to collect it. Now this time, instead, it was actually Andrew Porter who came back. And this was another thing that I've noticed now. So you watch Andrew Porter here. I'll try and keep my number 5 in the background for you guys. As we're running in, you can see me here setting up for the chip kick. The animation's relatively long. Does this little chip kick, and Andrew Porter is away. Andrew Porter knows I'm going to do this chip kick and is already turning. Now something I've also noticed, on these receiving kicks, the players seem to forget about the running physics of the game. If you actually just take a look here, at Andrew Porter's feet and the way he runs, he doesn't actually miss a stride at any point. It's going to be hard to sort of... Let me try and really slow it down. So, normally when you sort of kick over the top, you either have to take this kind of wide curling loop, or the players sort of stop and make a manual turn and they'll head towards the ball. When you do the chip kick, so you watch Andrew Porter here, so as he's coming in, he was sort of running diagonally to make this tackle anyway. You'll see that he's trying to run forwards, but you go for this chip kick over the top. He is now facing forwards. He is facing the opposite way. My guy is lining up. The ball is about to leave his hand. He's literally facing the wrong way. Runs on. Just watch his feet. I'm waiting for a stop, a pause, anything. Nothing. Makes that full turn and is able to run away. Doesn't actually miss a step in it, and therefore keeps full momentum on the sprint and will beat you back. Whereas if you take a look here at Gary Ringrose, chip kick comes in, makes a complete stop, and has to manually turn around and run back that way, right? There's a difference in the animation, and there's a real issue with players being able to get back and stop you, because basically they just ignore the way the physics works in the game. They just turn and immediately sprint in one go, and they almost always beat you back. So there's a bit of an issue at the minute with the chip kicking and other kicking things because of the way that the players work. And again, if you're going to have your players are now going to be locked into 5 players in a ruck, and therefore you're going to have less men in your own attacking line, you're going to have to look for other options to be able to get around the AI defense. Looking for those chip kicks could be a good way to make a little bit of ground, but the problem is at the minute, see that pass again then? The way it was choosing my passes, B, Y, and A, none of them are going to be of great use to me. I want to have that changed a little bit, but I'm not sure I like the concept of doing 5 players in the ruck. I think having the option to be able to do it is positive, but the problem will stem from, I assume the AI is always going to put 5 players in, which means I'm also going to have to always put 5 players in or get turned over, similar with online. And it doesn't really allow you to do a lot of others. I think the way the turnovers work and the ruck system work still needs to be looked at a bit. I'm not sure whether just making it so 5 players can be in. We already sort of complain that the rucks at the minute look like mini scrums, with the way 3 players from each side just dive in, and sometimes stuff adds, sometimes other stuff doesn't happen. I think that could be an issue. When you increase that to 5, it's going to look even more like a scrum. It's basically got the number of players in that are in a scrum. I think that's going to be a bit of an issue. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We'll test that out. Hopefully, if it's something that doesn't work out, it's something they're going to be able to revert. I don't know how hard that's going to be for them. Let me see if we can slide here with Ali. So we want one more try, right? We've had 4 tries. We've had a good game. Again, AI on hardest difficulty. Now that they've lost the handoff functionality and the bump offs, which makes the game much more realistic. But it does mean that I'm finding it kind of effortless because the AI... Oh, well, no, I tried to go for that pass to the right. That's another thing, that's kind of annoying in this game. But, the AI is not going to score a try against me. But here, right, you think about how tight players run. I've passed this ball out. You can sort of see this pass here. It came out to number 2. Where are 15 and 6 going? Why are they not over here? Look at this room. It's half the pitch. Half the pitch is unmanned. And so I've tried to run this way. I went for the right pass here because I'm expecting one of these boys to loop around. I've got Bowden Barrett there about to charge round, or Will Jordan, is it? Sorry, 15. Will Jordan, one of the fastest men in World Rugby, trying to chase down Cody Taylor. I'm expecting him to make that loop around and get a try in the corner. Pass right, nobody's there. But other times, in the game, you can pass right, and that would give that pass. They run that deep anyway, and sometimes you can do it. And now imagine from this ruck, not only are we in this ruck as we normally are, imagine we've got 2 other people in this ruck. What happens if both of these boys are in this ruck? What are we going to do? I've got my little trapezium of players behind me here that aren't really going to offer a lot to me from directly behind. I've got to go a little bit wider. He's basically my only target there. Maybe I could have gone to Scott Barrett. But, these 2 boys could also not be there. They could be tied up in the ruck as well. Yeah, a few issues, I think, that are going to potentially stem for this one. We'll test it out tomorrow and get some thoughts on it, because it can be one that I can see not going, particularly well. But you can see here, number of missed tackles, still 13 missed tackles by me. It is astonishing that putting the controller down warranted 0 missed tackles, but 13 when I'm actually playing. Kick meters gained, still not working, though we had quite a few kick meters in that one. 4 tries in that one for me. Yeah, I'm not going to do sort of thoughts and feedback because I've basically covered everything that I wanted to sort of say throughout the video. So there will be a new update coming out tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure how much we're going to be able to test. Things like the career pending offer functionality. I don't know how we test that live, just sort of in one video and stuff. But the 5-player in the ruck will be interesting. The stability, I haven't had any crashes since we did that one for episode 16, and there was the crash that I had in that one. Stamina system needs to be improved. AI substitution, injured player decisions needs to be better, so looking forward to that. Player send-off. Red cards maybe added into the game, that would be fun. I do really hope they fix the try-scoring faceplant thing. It looks so dumb every single time it happens. And hopefully, if they're going to go ahead with this 5-player ruck system, they're really going to improve that player width and depth, because otherwise it's going to feel too bunched, and I feel like people are going to get very, very annoyed that it's going to be way too hard to be able to make any sort of ground. But there we go, guys. That's my thoughts on update 17 from last week going into it. Update 18 coming out on Wednesday. I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye-bye.